this video, I'm sharing with you my fingerstyle arrangement of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. So let's begin with a demo and then we'll move into our lesson. If you're enjoying this arrangement, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and I love to teach fingerstyle arrangements and song tutorials for all levels. If you'd like to support my teaching and my channel by joining my Patreon community, you'll gain access to hundreds of downloads, including fingerstyle arrangements, song sheets, and songbooks. You'll find the link down below in the video description. This arrangement is for low G tuning, and next in our lesson, we'll walk through how to play the first verse step by step to get you started. Let's begin with measures 1 and 2 at a slow tempo. We start on a C chord in measure 1, playing an arpeggio or a broken chord through all 4 strings. Then we'll pick strings 4 down to 1, back to the 4th string, and then strings 2 and 3 together. Then in measure 2, we're going to place down our index finger and middle finger on the second fret of strings 4 and 3. We'll pick the 4th string, 3rd string, and then we'll place down our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then we go to a G7 chord, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings. And now measures 3 and 4. We begin measure 3 with all open strings, picking strings 3 and 4, then the 2nd string, and now we're going to place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, picking strings 2, 3, and 4 together, and then we'll pick the 3rd fret of the 1st string, placing down our pinky, and now in measure 4, we'll place our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, keeping our ring finger in place on the 2nd string. We'll pick strings 2 and 3 together. Then we'll lift up our ring finger, placing down our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Then we'll lift up our index finger to pick the open 2nd string. Then the 3rd string, keeping our middle finger in place. And now we have the open 3rd string. And we'll place our middle finger back down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, picking strings 3 and 4 together. And now measures 5 and 6. We begin measure 5 on a C chord, picking all 4 strings together. Now I like to use my pinky for this chord, and you can leave your pinky down for the entire measure because we are going to pick the 3rd fret of the 1st string to end measure 5. So after we pick this first chord, we'll pick the open 3rd string, then the open 2nd string, then we're going to place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, picking strings 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll go back to the 1st string. In measure 6, we'll keep our ring finger in place on the 2nd string, and we'll add our middle finger to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, picking strings 2, 3, and 4, then the 4th string, 3rd string, and then we're going to start to form a G7 chord, placing down our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Then we'll go back to the 4th string, and we'll end measure 6 on the 3rd string. And now measure 7 and 8. We'll start measure 7 once again on a C chord. Then we pick the open 2nd string, and then we'll place down our index finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then we'll lift it up, placing down our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, picking strings 1, 2, and 3 together. And now we go up to the 7th fret of the 1st string with our pinky, and then we're going to cover the 5th fret of strings 1, 2, and 3 with our ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Now for an easier version here, you can pick just the 1st string, using only your ring finger. So after this chord, we'll go down to the 3rd fret of the 1st string using our ring finger, then the 2nd fret using our middle finger, then the open 1st string, and now we'll place down our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, picking strings 2 and 3 together. And then we'll finish this measure by placing down our index finger on the first fret of the second string, lifting up our ring finger. And now measures 9 and 10. Moving from the end of measure 8 into measure 9, we're going to keep our middle finger in place on the third string, and we'll move our index finger to the first fret of the fourth string. We'll pick strings 2, 3, and 4, then the fourth string, third string, and now the open fourth string, and we're going to place our index finger on the first fret of the third string, and we'll finish measure 9 with the open second string. Now in measure 10, we're going to form a D7 chord. Here we're going to place our index finger, middle finger, and ring finger on the second fret of strings 4, 3, and 2, and our pinky on the third fret of the first string. We'll pick the fourth string, third string, and then strings 1 and 2 together. And now we're going to form a G7 chord, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Now at the end of measure 10, we have repeat bars, so we'll go back to measure 3 to play the second verse. For more of my Christmas and holiday song, fingerstyle arrangements, and song tutorials, see this playlist here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have yourself a merry little Christmas.